A full-size glue gun, but a detail tip? Wait, what? Does this even make sense to have? I don't know, but let's see. So Surebonder sent me this full-size detail tip glue gun. I have not opened it yet, so this is kind of more like a first look, first thought kind of a review situation, not where I've been like using this for months and being like, all right, this is what I like and this is what I don't like. Okay, so this is first glance already. Right off the bat, the detail tip is larger than what I'm used to. So when I think detail tip, I'm literally comparing it to the small detail tip glue gun, and it is smaller, but comparatively, like for a full-size glue gun, it's definitely smaller than a regular full-size glue gun. So detail full size is like it's broad. You know what I mean? We're not quite as fine tip as the mini glue gun. But still, like the possibilities are endless. So this glue gun too looks totally different than all of their other ones, which I think is fun. It's got like this fun little design on it. I noticed like the on and off switch is like in a weird spot, and I like that. Like the indicator light is like way down here on the bottom. There's a lot of cool and crazy things that are different about this glue gun, and I'm like really kind of digging it. So let's go ahead and open it up. All right, so. Okay, so I just plugged it in, and I like tried to set it down, and I'm like, oh, it's gotta put the kickstand down first, little dummy. Okay, so here it is. Everything so far is like, okay, solid. Like no complaints. I mean, like, I think this is kind of cool. It looks very like beefy and fun, and this feels really good on my hand. Like this is all rubberized handle and like feels really, really comfortable. The indicator light is down here, which is cool, and it's almost like you could just literally do it with your finger if you wanted to. I don't know why you would ever do that while you're using it, but you could. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and load a glue stick in here too and kind of see just like first thoughts about, you know, it's heating up right now, but like, you know, am I getting a nice clean line? How much glue's coming out and all that fun stuff. So I do have mini size right here as well, and if you look closely to the tips, like the full size is definitely bigger than this mini one. However, this is significantly smaller than the main regular full-size glue gun. So there is that too. Okay, so now that we're talking about the tips, I kind of just want to like measure it and see the difference before we start gluing, just to kind of really see what we're talking about. You turn it on. This one is literally like 3.05 millimeters. And then this one is 2.3. So it's like basically 0.7 millimeter different. I wanted to grab this other glue gun that I have. This is the Dual Temp Ultra. And I wanted to see, this is like a regular full size tip, and I wanted to kind of see what the opening was on this one so we can kind of gauge like what they consider a detail tip on a full size versus an actual full size. Okay, so this one I'm gonna measure a little bit different because this tip is, so the hole on this one is actually 2.6, which is technically smaller. So I'm gonna test this one again. So going from the inner diameter of the hole, it's like about 2 millimeters actually. If I go from well, this one's on now. It's clearly smaller. I'm not gonna test that one because there's already glue coming out of it. But it is indeed smaller from like that little like inner diameter of the hole versus this one. Okay, I also kind of wanted to compare. One of the biggest problems I had with the Ultra was that it was a little bit wobbly on this like front base, this front stand, and this one had a metal stand too, so I was kind of like a little worried, like, is it gonna be just as wobbly as this one? This one has a much wider base, which counteracts that wobbliness on, like it just makes it more solid than on this one. And this one has kind of like a smaller base, but because this one is like it's a shorter distance between the ground or the whatever you tabletop, I would almost argue that this one is more solid and secure than the Ultra. So far, really liking that too. And I think like design-wise, like it's kind of cool. I mean, it makes sense. You gotta make all your designs differently. So like if I'm gonna grab a glue gun, I know which one I'm grabbing by sight versus like grabbing one that's like, oh shoot, I grabbed the wrong one, not realizing it. I think my biggest worry about it is because I 100% use this mini detail all the time. It fits well in my hand. I mean, it's small, but it fits well. But I've gotten like really, really good beads on this, really good lines. It's been so trusty. My first thought was like, this is my baby. This is what I use all the time. Like, is this gonna be able to like keep up with this guy? And like, is this gonna convert me to go with the full size over the mini? One thing about the full size is like, obviously it's a bigger full size stick. So there's more glue here, obviously, than the mini stick. So you're gonna be refilling your glue gun potentially less. If you were comparing this to a full size, it's going to also outflow more glue, so it would be comparable, but this is a detail tip, so technically more glue, less hole to come out of. I'm kind of expecting a really, really long bead of glue with one pull of the trigger. So I kind of want to do like a side-by-side comparison to see what the difference is here. Also, this is a 60-watt glue gun and this is a 20-watt glue gun. So this one's gonna have more heat and more power. This one's gonna be less power. Okay, so this should have been heated up by now. I think one thing that I'm noticing too is that like looking at this kickstand and this kickstand, if I'm gluing, it's always recommended to push these up out of the way. But if you weren't going to, like, it's not really in the way of any of your craft surfaces. Like both of these are fairly far away. Like this one is like much closer to the tip, so I could see it kind of like getting in the way. So I mean, you might actually want to be kicking these up regularly. So whenever you put it in a new glue stick, brand new, you're usually gonna have to like pump it through a few times before you're gonna get any glue to come out. We are not quite ready yet. You never want to force the glue stick in because that's how you start breaking this trigger mechanism and whatnot. And these glue guns aren't like insanely expensive, but they're not cheap either. So you definitely want to take care of them and not just like abuse them. So make sure that they're fully on before you're, and heated up before you're trying to like express glue through it. All right, so it is finally heated up. Honestly, it was like an extra 30 seconds before it was ready to go, but I just wanted to be sure before I started doing it. I want to compare both of the normal mini fine tip detail tip, and I just want to do one trigger pull and kind of see how long of a bead I can do, but then also kind of like judge how small the bead is and how far I'm going and all of those fun things, and then kind of compare it and maybe see if like maybe I'm gonna convert to this guy for my regular gluing detail tip necessities. So, okay, we're gonna go ahead and I'm trying to go slow just so I can get a really good handle on this, so. All right. There was a little bit more, so it got a little wonky. I'll do this right here. Whoa, okay. That was 3 trigger pulls for the same one trigger pull right next to it. Oops. Okay, so that is another thing that I'm just now seeing. So like when I'm using this one, I can do, well, how do I do this without getting so my fingers were here. You gotta put all your fingers on this to not get them in the way. Let's try that again. That is just crazy. I might be converting for a little while and just mainly using this guy in my flower making and really see if having slightly a little bit bigger of a bead is really gonna bother me so much. I think there's certain situations that I might still need that tiny little bead of glue, but really like as far as like bead size, this is still pretty darn small. I don't know, like the fact that in one pull I was able to get so much more glue is just like insane. It was like 3 times as much glue in one trigger pull. I'm actually really, really excited to keep trying this out and really like kind of put it to test on like a daily basis and a weekly basis to see how much I'm pulling from this glue gun versus this one, which is like my go-to. I'm really excited to see. So, in fact, I kind of want to see if I can go like even a little bit slower and get a little bit thinner. Yeah, there is incredible control on like even getting a smaller bead of glue by just like holding it, the pressure a little bit different and moving a little bit faster and whatnot. There is a link below to the Surebonder website, and if you use my link, there's definitely a tiny little kickback that helps me with my channel and just supports me to continue doing all of these great videos for you. Be sure to check out their full line of products, and I'm hoping that this will help you decide which one to get. Stay tuned. I'm probably gonna do like an update video on this one eventually, after I kind of put it through the ringer of like really going through like just a few weeks of just like really heavy use, and see how I feel about it. But I mean, off the top, I'm pretty excited to keep going and keep playing with this one. Let me know if you've tried this one in the comments, or if you have any specific questions or things that you want me to try with this that I can kind of like help push to see if maybe like this is the right glue gun for you. Be sure to like and subscribe and hit that notification bell so that you're not missing the update video when it comes out. And if you have any questions on any of these other glue guns, be sure to find those videos on my channel so that you can learn which glue gun is the best glue gun to start with. All right, thank you so much, guys. I will catch you next time.